Hi, this is Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to No BS Job Search Advice Radio. This is a time on Monday mornings I spend about 15 minutes speaking with you about some element of job search because I believe job hunting doesn't have to be as hard, difficult, painful, or take as long as it does for many of you. It's just the skills needed to find a job complement but are different than the skills needed to do a job. And that's where this show, my other one, my flagship show, Job Search Radio, both come in very helpful. By the way, Job Search Radio is also on iTunes, it's on Stitcher, and its home is on webtalkradio.net. So that's where these shows come in helpful. They're all designed to help you find work more quickly. So this show is brought to you by two sponsors. The first one is Audible. And if you go to audibletrial.com/thebiggamehunter and sign up for a free trial of Audible, you'll get a free audiobook as part of that trial. And I know you like audio, you listen to my podcast, right? And the other sponsor was consultingassignments.com. And that's a site where you can find and fill consulting assignments, full-time consulting positions, temp to perm, and contract to hire opportunities anywhere in the world completely free. Posting a job or a resume is free. Searching jobs and resumes is also free, as is the ability to contact one another. The only thing that the site charges for is if you're going to feature more than one position. You have the opportunity to feature it, and they charge a whopping $10 for 30 days. So again, consultingassignments.com. So I thought I would do a show that kind of breaks down the individual steps to being proactive in a job search. And some of these are kind of meticulous, but I think it's useful to hear them because I think sometimes people go right to the write a resume, start emailing at the companies that advertise, interview. They don't really take a lot of time to think, and they think that's all there is. You respond to job ads. So I thought I would break down the search process for you a little bit and make sure that you're not missing any steps. Now, I cover some of these in my book, Get Ready for the Job Jungle. It's 10 steps to finding your next job. Now, I edited out some of these from that book because I just thought this would be a lot simpler. By the way, you can find Get Ready for the Job Jungle on Amazon as a Kindle book. You can also find a PDF at my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us. So here we go. First step, figure out the jobs. You want the job you want to look for, the jobs that you're open to and qualified for, and start to learn the profile of what a firm looks for in these roles. Let me give you an example. You decide what you want to be looking for as a project manager position, just for the sake of argument. And you first have to understand what a firm looks for in a project manager. So you start looking at job ads in order to figure out what are the qualifications? Do I have them? What do I need to do to get the remedial knowledge to be qualified for most of these firms that are looking for project managers? So that's where you're really trying to figure out the kind of job that you're looking for, the kind of role that you want to be in, and start to evaluate and assess how you measure up to what firms look for. Now, this is part of the process of looking at your strengths and weaknesses and working to remediate your weaknesses and, of course, where you can, enhance your strengths. From there, you start to look at your relevant achievements. What have you done? What are the stories that you're going to tell? They're going to demonstrate your successes in this kind of role. Successes. When we get to the resume suggestion, which isn't far from now, and for your interviews, you're going to want to tell stories about what you did and how you went about doing it, the successes that you had, and the metrics, the measurements by which success is measured. And there are really only two criteria: money saved, money earned. So when you start talking about your story, about your achievements for this position, you want to be able to always talk and measure what it is that you did and how it contributed to the success of the firm by money saved and money earned. Now, if you're in a role that doesn't really have such a matrix. Or metrics, I should say. What you want to be doing is talking about how your work is X percentage better based upon some measure than a similar person. So just for the sake of argument again, the call center person who handles 17% more calls successfully than the typical call center person in your organization. The receptionist who handles 8% more calls than other receptionists in the organization. You get my idea. You can talk about percentage above average, and that's probably the lowest denominator that you can work with. From there, once you've started to identify what it is that firms look for in the role that you want to be associated with, you start targeting employers and looking at how they want to find out about potential hires. So for example, yes, some firms are going to advertise and they want to see it apply through ads. But I also encourage people to not just apply through ads, but to reach out to employees of firms, develop a relationship, and start seeing if they might refer you into the organization. It's always better to be referred by someone than to arrive as a stranger. After all, if your best friend tells you, hey, I want you to talk to Jeff, he's an exceptional recruiter, I think he can do a great job for us, that carries more weight than if I sent a brochure to your company, right? Same thing applies to you. You want to have something ready, where you're marketing to people and encouraging them to recommend you. Then from there, write a resume. Now, along the way in your career, I want you to think of branding, and that your resume and your brand are congruent. That's not just simply in terms of appearance, but it's in terms of the kinds of things that you promote about yourself that demonstrate that you're a viable individual for their organization, is going to impress the heck out of them. It's like I say, do you want to be one of many or one of a kind? I think most people would rather indicate that they're one of a kind and unique rather than one of the pack, because one of the pack gets one of the pack kind of money and opportunities. One of a kind people get unique chances to present themselves to organizations. So you want to have a great resume that demonstrates your unique qualities for the position you're targeting. And then from there, you want to have your LinkedIn profile congruent with that theme from your resume. You want to create a baseline cover letter as part of your approach. So I never believe in sending a generic cover letter, but it creates a degree of convenience to have this kind of a template available to you to which you tweak. So for example, your baseline might simply say, I'm forwarding my resume to you because I was recommended by so-and-so to do so, or because I saw an ad on fill in the blank. I understand that you're looking for such and such. And you start to talk about your experience and how it relates to what they're looking for. I hope to hear from you soon, but if not, I'll follow up with you in 2 days to see if we might be able to speak. So you create this kind of a template, but the variation involves the qualities of your experience that relate to what it is you've been told that they're looking for. And you want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is congruent with these things, because firms go to LinkedIn for verification. And if they don't see something mentioned there, they think that what it is that you're talking about is relatively trivial experience. So they're going to devalue it in their assessment of you. If there are any sorts of, because you're in a visual field, portfolios that you need to prepare to demonstrate, the visual quality of your work, you have those ready and existing on the web, and make sure that you include links to those. You start reaching out to connections on LinkedIn individually in order to help you. So for example, if they can reach out to an employer that you want to network with or network your way into, reach out to those people. Excuse me, I'm just going to take a quick sip of tea. My throat is a little off today, so excuse me if I need to lubricate it once in a while with tea. So from there, you start to reevaluate your plan in each instance to see how it's working for you. You start setting goals for yourself of people to connect with in order to network your way into organizations where there's work that relates to what you're looking for. You don't want to simply contact people and say, hey, if you hear about anything, let me know. You want to say to them, hi, I'm looking for a project manager role, an accounting role, where someone with X number of years of experience doing such and such might be of value. Do you know of anything along those lines, or could you point me towards someone who's working in this profession who I might be able to reach out to? Maybe they know something. So, again, you're working toward building your networking and setting goals for yourself as to how many people you want to connect with daily and weekly. You want to do things where people endorse you for LinkedIn and write testimonials about you, because again, this is social proof for individuals. Now, on my website, I talk about over 500 endorsements for particular skills. I actually have more than that. I just haven't updated the numbers. But when you see someone with, 500 plus endorsements for some attribute and compare them with someone with 5 endorsements for that same attribute, do you tend to get swayed toward the person with 500 endorsements? Probably. So you want to start building up your number of endorsements each week in order to get more social proof. You want to start checking your references to make sure that that they like what it is that you have, that they're going to support what it is you have to say about your work. The last thing you want to do is wait till the last minute and have trouble reaching your references. So you want to do that proactively. From there, you want to start practicing how to interview, because whether you get an interview for your first contact or your 14th contact, interviewing is a skill that requires practice, and you can't just simply wing it. You come across as an amateur. So as such, rather than just simply reading how to interview or watch all my videos about interviewing and how to answer certain questions, start doing mock interviews with people who are knowledgeable in your field, so that this way you have the ability to practice and make your mistakes before the real thing, so that you don't screw up and it becomes costly. Lastly, salary negotiation has its own skills, and I don't want you getting involved with practicing your salary negotiation tactics too early. I'll simply say, once you get your first interview, start watching my videos on salary negotiation. For now, there's a tab about it on my website, but I'm moving all the content to the blog. So if you don't see a tab, or if you see some of my videos there, make the point of going over to the blog and taking a look for others using the categories in the right column. So those are the steps I would say for conducting a proactive job search. I know there's a lot, and some may not relate to you. But I'll also say that if you want me to work with you proactively, so that there's something that's personalized for you and I can walk you through the steps, schedule time with me through my website. Again, that's thebiggamehunter.us. Or if you want to sign up for coaching, again, you can reach out to me through my website. Both of these are services I charge for, and in all honesty, I must say, it is well worth the price. I also want to mention, if we're not connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request at linkedin.com/IN/the-big-game-hunter. I accept connection requests from people worldwide, except if you look like a spammer or scammer, except if you're a third-party recruiter. Last point I want to make is, if your current firm is trying to hire someone, I want to help them with staffing. Email me at jeffaltman@thebiggamehunter.us. Let me know who to contact and whether I should mention your name. I'd love to help your firm staff positions. So I'm Jeff Altman. Hope you enjoyed today's show. I'll be back next week. Have a great day.